Hi, my name is Gabby and welcome to my channel, Gabby on Paper. In today's video, we are going to close out January. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, it is about 6:50 a.m. on February 1st, so it's January is over. We're gonna go through, clear out all of the categories that have money left over in January and get those reassigned into different categories so that we're ready to go for February. This morning I did not wake up early enough to exercise, but I figured I'd still woke up early enough to film this, so hopefully we have enough time. I have 4 overspent categories. One of them is just the credit card, and that usually clears out once I cover some of these other ones, so we'll start by doing that portion. Groceries, I'm over budget by $11.61, so we'll send money from the dining out. We'll send that to groceries. And then what I've decided to do is create a category for delivery. I'm not going to be assigning money to it. It's just when we get food delivered, I will add the transaction to this category and then move money over from dining out. I just decided to add that so I have a little more information about our delivery practices. It's not something we do super often, but I'd like to see the number at the end of the year, which is why I'm doing it. So from here we'll move $9.96 down to delivery. And this was just, I think it was a pizza that I split the cost with my boyfriend and we had a coupon, so it's pretty cheap. And the last overspent category was gifts. I did buy my brother a gift. I went a little over budget. I had thought about $60, but I clearly didn't have enough here because we're just not far enough into the year. So let's cover this with miscellaneous. Perfect. And that should take care of all my overspent categories up here, see? Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead and gather up all the money that's left. We'll take this $1 from AT&T, $2.36 from renter's insurance. That's it. I've taken money from all my variable expense categories. Anything that's left, I will bring up to ready to assign and then get that into the new categories that we want to send that to. Today's is actually very simple. We are going to go forward to February and assign the last $160 that I need to get fully funded. I am now officially a full month ahead on everything. If we go here, you can see that February is underfunded by $0. So as of today, I can start working on March. I don't get paid until later this week, so we'll worry about that then. I can't even believe it. This is very exciting. So now we have $11.57 to work with. Let's go ahead and get this down to a nice even number. We'll send $1.57 to our holding category. And then I'll go ahead and send $10 to my birthday since that is coming up so soon, and then we'll stop focusing on that. So that's it. All the money has been gathered up from January. It's been reassigned to its new categories. And now we can go over our spending report. So we'll start with the income. Again, it's just my job, so very straightforward. I made $3,753.51 in income. And then spoiler alert, after all my expenses, I saved, my net income was $1,169.92. This does include about $250 worth of overtime. I think a typical month of just my salary, no overtime, is about $3,500. I think my very first paycheck in January had a bunch of like 4 or 5 hours of overtime, so it was kind of a crazy period, and that's why it's so high for me. Okay, so now looking at my spending, the only thing I've removed from here, because you can see it says some categories, are just reimbursement accounts for when my boyfriend and my sisters spend money and they reimburse me. Everything else is on here. So we'll start with the biggest portion of this, which is 51.5% for bills. Obviously, the majority of that is the rent and utility fee. It then goes down to the AT&T, my phone bill. It went down by 20 cents, and I don't know why. My renter's insurance was paid for the whole year. This is for my half of it. Sorry. ComEd bill was a typical $41.50, and then, oh yeah, I spent $4.49 in interest and fees. I just, again, wasn't thinking and didn't pay off my credit card in time, and so I accrued interest. So after bills, the next biggest category is the saving and investing, and that was $542 that I sent towards my Roth IRA. This is all going in the 2022 bucket. Once tax day passes, I'll start going to 2023 and probably increase this a little more in hopes of getting close to maxing it out. We'll see. Then the next biggest category, which made up 16.4% of my total spending, was food. So that was $437.85. Of that, the majority, 59.7%, came from groceries. That's $261.61, which, as you saw, is over budget. I budgeted $250, and I just don't know. I mean, it has to be inflation. I just don't feel like, aside from a few items, I personally don't see too much of a difference that it's been all year. Maybe from the year before, yeah, but not this year. But as you can see, it's really affecting my budget. I've tried to cut back on buying things like chips and stuff, but it's still high. We might have to adjust this number. We'll see how it goes the next couple of months. Since I've been keeping like other things like my dining out kind of on the lower side, it's been fine. I can just transfer money over, but I'd rather get an accurate idea of how much I'll be needing for groceries and adjust accordingly. For dining out, as you remember, I did split this up into a couple of different things. So this is dining out at restaurants when we're going out to eat. This could include fast food, but typically it doesn't. So that made up 19.4% of my total dining out category. We went to breakfast, we went to a pizza restaurant, Mexican grill, and then like Asian food. So 4 times this month, like actually dining out in a restaurant. Next was work lunches. What I decided to do is this $250 that I would normally assign to dining out, I split it up. Dining out is now $200, work lunches is now $50, and I can move money around between those, no problem. So work lunches made up $42.90, which is 9.8% of the total spending on food. And one day I went to Italy because they were having a pasta week. I couldn't pass that up. I had said that I wouldn't eat out for lunch anymore the rest of the month, but I couldn't. I had to go. It was so cheap. Like this, for the meal that I normally get, I mean, this is considering that I ate downstairs and not at their actual restaurants or more at their like casual place. So I didn't have to tip or anything. But this meal by itself without tax and tip is like $27 last time I went. So the fact that it was $11, $12.29 with tax, I couldn't pass that up. And then they opened a Raising Cane's by my work, McDonald's, and Sbarro. This is where I get my fast food. At work, because there's a few places by our apartment, there's none. And then treats, just vending machine things and stuff like that. $38.41, which was 8.8% of the total, food total. Do have some like gas station stuff in here. We went to Starbucks to do some journaling and just sit there for a while, and I bought a croissant, things like that. And then finally 2.3% was delivery. We got food or pizza delivered to our apartment. This is for my half. We did have like a $20 promo code or something like that, or a gift card, $20 gift card. So it was a lot cheaper than normal. So this is like the A and G is the category for me and my boyfriend. I spent $172.20, which was 6.5% of the total spending for the month. And this is a little high. We did a few things, but 51.1% of that was our anniversary meal that I treated my boyfriend to. 32% of that total was his Valentine's Day gift that I bought on Amazon that I haven't given him yet. I'm saving that for Valentine's Day. And then we spent $29.12, or 16.9% of the total spending in this category, on visiting a dog at a dog shelter that we ended up not adopting, just because I just don't think we would have been able to give him the care that he needed, because he honestly was in rough shape, and we've been keeping an eye on him, and he was adopted, and I'm so happy for him. It's good. All right, next is sinking funds, and let's see. I spent $64.33 on a gift for my boyfriend. This was almost 70% of the total spending for this category. It was a little over budget, but only by about $4, so it wasn't much. I'm fine with that. I had budgeted $60 for his birthday gift when I created my sinking fund targets, and then budgeted however much I'm spending for all the people in my life throughout the year, divided that by 12, and came up with a number, which is why I'm sending $45 a month to my gift sinking fund. But with his birthday being in January, I just didn't have enough money in there to cover it, so that's totally fine. We figured it out. I spent $20 on a Secret Santa gift for my work. We had ended up doing it after Christmas, and I just completely forgot to buy this in December, but I still took the money from from 2022's Christmas budget. And then home goods, I spent $824, or 8.9% of the total spending on this category, and that's because we bought a squeegee, and then we bought some like masking tape to kind of figure out how big we want our rug to be and like tape it out in our living room. And then subscriptions have been normal as always. Peloton making up almost 50% of that. Again, this is my half. My boyfriend pays for the other half. And then these three I split with my boyfriend and my sister, so this is my third. Apple One, Netflix, and Hulu. I don't know if you remember, but at the beginning of the month, I was charged for my Pipsticks subscription. It was like $17.95. I thought I had canceled it. Turns out I had only paused it for a month, but I reached out to them and asked them to refund it and cancel it, and they were able to do that, so you don't see that charge here, which is awesome. And that's it. That takes care of my total spending for the month. With bills and everything, I spent almost $2,600, the bills being the majority of that, over 50% of that. So those are all necessities. So going back to income and expenses, you can see here that my net income after all my expenses, including my Roth IRA being taken out, I have $1,169.92 that I was able to put towards financial goals. Honestly, most of it was just sinking funds that I'm working on funding up real fast before I can move on to more investing and building my emergency fund. I am back for half a second because I just realized I forgot to go over one thing, and that's my Gabby Improvement Fund. As you can see, it's negative $83.06. When everything else up here is positive, and that's because in December I purchased a coat. In January I pretty much exchanged it for another coat that was cheaper, so I got that money back, and then I didn't end up spending anything in that category, with it being a no-buy month for me. So it was a very successful month. I'm very happy with how this turned out, and that's why you see that down here and not in this. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining me in today's video. If you haven't done so already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Bye.